Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is General Ravi Shankar. We're going to talk about a topic that blows hot and cold, has been doing that for 2-3 years now. General Ravi Shankar, Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Viewers, Ukraine-Russia conflict. Neither side is being completely defeated, completely decimated, rubbed to the ground. Each one falls down, stands up, again fights and hits something. In fact, today's news is that one of the refineries that Ukraine has set on fire in Russian-controlled area is still burning. That tells you something. I mean, how much is pollution because of that? What is really happening there? Also, Ukraine took out a freight train that was carrying oil supplies. This was in the Russian-controlled area inside Ukraine, Zaporizhzhia area. So Ukraine is taking a lot of beating, sometimes even hundreds of drones a day. Yet, it's not ready to give up, and neither is Russia. Then what happened to this Alaska meeting? They were supposed to be, Trump was so gung-ho about it. He said that I don't want a ceasefire, I want peace. It looked like he was trying to jump 2 steps. When you try to go 2 steps forward, often you go 3 steps back. Is that what is happening now? Sir, your thoughts?
Yeah, very interesting. This war has now gone on for 3 years. So first, let's see what stage we are in. The Russians have occupied 4 oblasts or 4 districts of Ukraine, southern eastern Ukraine.
The Donbass, Kharkiv and Zaporizhzhia.
Zaporizhzhia. And they also got Crimea. So they're not going to let go. What are Russia's demands? We'll start from there. That whatever territory they've gained is theirs. It's now part of Russia. Second, Ukraine has to be demilitarized. It will not be part of NATO. And security guarantees have to be given to Russia. That no NATO movement will take place and all. Basically, it's against NATO, and Ukraine can't join EU. And demilitarized. And it should have only a military for its internal security and not this. That's the thing. Obviously, Ukraine is not agreeing to it. And Europe is also not agreeing to it. Till before Alaska, even America was not agreeing to it. So what happened? Why did that meeting take place in Alaska? The whole idea of the meeting was that Trump wanted to get Putin into a ceasefire. Whereas Putin was not interested in a ceasefire. He wants a settlement. So he's probably gone and told Trump that, look, he's clarified to Trump the current state of affairs. And he must have told Trump, I'm not in for a ceasefire. You want to do a peace? We'll do it. And that day, when the meet took place, one thing Trump would have probably first time realized, he can't force Putin into anything. Nor can he sell a ceasefire to Europe. He can't sell a ceasefire to Putin. He can't sell a peace proposal to Europe. So his efficacy is out of the equation. Probably I think that's what happened. So he said, okay, fine, we'll go for a peace deal. The moment he said a peace deal, it set alarms off in Europe. And Putin went back smiling all the way because he'd got Trump to agree to a peace deal. And of course, Trump spoke
now they are being torn to pieces.
Yeah, now they are torn to pieces. And Trump said, oh, we'll have to revive trade, this, that, all that. And then Trump went back, and very next day, all the European leaders came. Now, the European leaders also, if you saw, Germany and France, the rest were all okay. But Germany and France said, look, unless we have a ceasefire, we really can't go ahead. That's the underlying thing. And Ukraine didn't know. Ukraine also made the same thing. We'll not give away our territory, everything else. But we want a peace deal. So all those stories were there. Somewhere in that, I think Trump has suddenly realized, look, I can't take this. So he has offloaded the responsibility now to Europe and Ukraine. He says, you want to fight with Russia? You fight with them. Continue. So if Ukraine wants to fight with Russia, it can continue fighting. But Europe pays for it. I'll provide you the weapons, provided you pay me for it. So Trump actually has slipped out of the equation. So far, USA was the prime mover in this peace and ceasefire negotiations. He has now stepped out. Yes, I will give you security guarantees. What does security guarantees mean? That you give me money, I'll give you weapons.
Correct.
After that, you do what you want. You fight, you do what you want. Okay, I'm not going to do anything. I'll give you everything else. I'll give you air defense, this, all that at a cost. Now, the Europeans and the Ukrainians don't want a peace deal because the immediate peace deal, they'll have to agree to these 4 oblasts. Donbass, Luhansk, Zaporozhia and Kherson to be lost, and they don't want. They are looking at a peace deal and negotiation. Trump is saying, you do what you want, finish the war, because I want my minerals, because he's done a deal with Putin also for minerals. Minerals are on the Russian side. Then Putin is sitting happy. He says, okay, you keep doing what you want, I'll do what I want.
Next.
Okay. So this is where it is at this point of time. So let's see where it goes. What next? Europe doesn't have that kind of money now to fund Ukraine. Ukraine is done. Ukraine doesn't have the manpower to continue this war. So how will Ukraine fund this or be funded? Will Europe be prepared to fund? Now these are the questions which Europe has to answer. Well, they all came, spoke to Trump, found out that Trump is not going to fund them. They've all gone back. They'll have to sit and decide as to what to do next. But definitely, if there's no funding for Ukraine, Ukraine will collapse.
Yes.
There's no doubt in this. Right, but in the meanwhile, Ukraine will continue its fight because they have some capability. They'll do all this. You know what, the train which you said, oil and all that, what is it? That oil supply is to where? To Europe. That oil supply was
Also, I think Russia accidentally hit a US company too.
US company inflicts in Ukraine. So Trump is edgy about it. He's told Ukrainians don't hit oil coming into Europe by these trains. So he wants Russian oil to come into Europe, but Russian oil shouldn't go via India to other places. So that is also
Figure that out, guys.
Okay. So all these issues are on the cards. Now look at the Russian side. What has Russia done? Look, Putin went into this whole thing with a clear game plan. He had spoken to Xi Jinping, he spoke to Modi, he spoke to Lula, he spoke to, I think, someone else, I don't remember. 4 people he spoke. And he explained his game plan. And he's played that game plan out. You know, there he went and told in Alaska, I'm looking forward to increasing your trade between Russia and USA, because already ever since the Trump administration has come, trade has increased by 20%. Oh, 20%. If USA has increased its trade by 20%, why does it want India to cut trade by 20% or whatever? So that question has come up. You know, immediately after that, all these tariffs have come into question.
Yes.
Though Scott Bessent and all these chaps have been yapping, that's okay. So, you know, he's diffused the tariff thing, Putin, and we must thank him for it. Let's be very honest. That's where it is. As far as the battlefront is concerned, he can sustain it. He's got the land. In any...
I mean, Russia is used to long wars.
No, it's not. Not only that. Let me put it, in any argument, 99% of the case is possession.
Yes.
He's got it.
Yes.
Right? Ukraine doesn't have the capability to push them back. Russia also doesn't have the capability to go farther. Okay? They'll not go farther
So
because...
it's sort of like...
it's in a stalemate. So, and he's holding on to...
When will the stalemate turn to détente?
Yeah, we'll come to that. That's the thing which I'm coming to. Russia is in control of those areas where people are back Russia, Russian-speaking people.
But there's an inherent favor towards Russia.
Yeah, he's not going ahead. So he's stopped there. He can't go ahead. Ukraine can't evict Russian troops out because he doesn't have the manpower. Even if he's given money, how does he continue? And money is not there.
Do you think Pakistan could be asked to go and fight for Ukraine? They've sold them the ammunition.
No. That will not happen. That Pakistan is asking for it if that happens. But I don't think Trump is in favor of prolonging this war. After all, his Nobel Prize is at stake.
So the Nobel Peace Prize,
Prize
viewers.
is at stake, yeah, not the war prize. So I think there would be a movement further if Europe takes a call as to how to prosecute this whole story. But otherwise, this will keep smoldering. Because if Ukraine doesn't want to go in for a deal, it's okay. Putin will say, fine, continue. But increasingly, if there's no deal, let's say there's no deal, there's no peace deal, then what? Then questions will come on Zelensky because he's already on overtime.
Correct.
There have to be elections.
Yes.
So they'll say, have elections. Someone will say, force elections. Then Putin will say, okay, you have elections. For that matter, time I'll give you ceasefire. I'll give you ceasefire for elections, 2 weeks, which he did it last time. Easter time he gave 2 weeks off, there was a ceasefire. So he'll give a window for elections. And in those elections, once if elections start, he can also manipulate them.
Of course.
All right, and then things might change. So that is one way of
Yanukovych.
whatever, whichever, whoever it is. So there is scope. That is one option of this settling. A new government, and it might take 1-2 years, but it will happen. The other way is Ukraine folds up. Europe says, we can't fund you. Better go for a peace deal. And Europe, a white flag is shown. Let's start peace. And some modicum of arrangement comes through, where Trump will again come back and say, I'll arrange this thing. Handshake and all
White
that.
House.
Yeah, so I think these two are the thing. Of course, the third is it continues. It festers and continues. And Trump loses interest in it. And he turns other places. He has to also handle China.
That's true.
Right?
True.
And whatever he has to do with China, whether he wants to go into G2 with China or whatever, let him do. So I think all these three options are open. At this point of time, the third option seems to be most likely. No war, no peace, it will continue for some time. And it will slowly graduate into the second. After some time, when people will say, okay, enough of Zelensky, let's have a new election. The third happening, that is the first option which I said, that a peace deal. I don't think, because when Europeans have to save face, that will be a total victory for Putin. So, right? So somewhere, anything between the first and the second option which I had outlined is, I think, likely. But will it happen immediately? I don't think so. But it gives adequate space for Putin to consolidate his story. And if Putin gets time to consolidate, we get time to consolidate also.
That's true. That's true.
Okay? We also get time to consolidate. On the other hand, it gives a space for us to start talking to Europe.
We meaning India.
India. India can start talking to Europe, because in that time, Europe will start realizing, look, here we can't deal with Trump anymore, because after all, they also have problems.
They're probably thinking same.
And we have to find alternate things. So let's think. So that is the way I visualize things happening.
In 6 months, Trump has truly stirred the pot.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So how things are going to play out is anyone's guess. At the same time, I think General has brought out a new perspective, I think, because this is where generals are useful. I mean, they are he could be doing this for who knows. So thank you so much, General Ravi Shankar. And again, this is coming courtesy of Gunner Shot and P Gurus. Do subscribe to our channel. If you have not already liked this video, please like it. In fact, like all the videos right at the beginning, we need to beat the guys who are trying to scam it. Thank you so much, sir. Namaskar. Bye.